Okay, let's get this going. Let me get the link going. It's somewhere near. That's all.
Perfect.
Where's the? And you remember? Oh, there. Share link.
Yup, here we go. And now I can also see the chat.
Nice.
I love being able to see the chat. That's so helpful for specifically me.
Fair. Let me move this over so I can see my notes. Not really notes, just kind of like little things, but.
I got my notes pulled up. I got pretty solid notes for all my teams, except
Gotcha.
Orm, just because I ran out of steam.
That's fair.
Sitting in that car, Getting in that car ride to the airport was killing me.
That's a long day. Yeah.
It's
Let's
like a
see.
4 hour drive, and I was in Colorado time and not
OBS.
EST. I was like,
Hello,
yeah.
Cowboy. Welcome. Where was I pinged? LT, what's going on LTM?
That man's first. That's crazy. Thank goodness we have the people.
Yep. We'll give it a few minutes to let people come in.
Yup.
So this should be an interesting one. We do it. Hello, Nash.
Oh, this will be something. By
Yep.
the sounds of it.
Think we can give like 3 more minutes and then we'll get going.
Sounds good. I would expect more people to watch the VOD anyway.
We'll see. I have actually looked at the stuff for the previous one, but guess I could pull that up while we're waiting.
I mean, the previous one has 81 views,
That's not bad.
which means quite a few people have looked at it.
That's true. I think that counts the people who are in, though. I'm pretty sure we have like 50 viewers over the course of it, so. Anyway.
And that just means that's like 70 other people.
Who pinged me?
I'll talk.
Hello, Hazy. Welcome.
That is a great question,
Cowboy, you will have rankings, but not today. I believe you're in Tourmaline.
That sounds right.
So you will eventually have rankings, but not immediately.
Don't worry, mine
We
got
will get to it
rescheduled
later
too.
this week, at some point.
It'll happen.
Yep. Quinn is not going back to me since I said PRs are back on, so Topaz might not happen tonight, but I'll see if I hear back from him. If not,
But what's up, Grim?
Hello, Grim.
I wish I could see how many people are actually watching. It just gives me a number.
I can. We have 7.
Oh yeah, no, I also see the number. I meant like the individuals, I suppose.
I know. There's probably a way to do that, and I do not care enough to figure it out. Oh, there's something called. Oh, okay, I found it. There's a participants plan. I found it. Hello, Knight. Knight, why are you awake?
Oh, cool.
It is like 1 a.m. for you. You know what? Never mind. I know the answers to that question. I don't know why I even asked.
They need to tune into peak. I mean, come on.
I mean, that's not the answer, but sure.
Yo, Cobra's got this on as a podcast in the background type shit.
There's a shit div. No, the shit div is later because I'm in it.
Nidus is here. What's up, Nidus?
Oh, nice. So I guess it's been a little bit. Let's get started.
All right, go time.
Sorry for the coughing, everyone. I just took my inhaler, so it might take a bit for it to kick in. Anyway, let's start off with number 16, which is Mojo, who I had at 15, you had 16, so neither of us really like this team very much. Yeah,
Indeed.
Yeah, I know it just doesn't do it for me. There's so many Mods like that are just really underwhelming. Like this is like fraud
Mm,
watch the team.
you're so right. I saw first round pick 15 zero aura, and
That's
I
pretty
got
good.
really worried because I think that mon is mid without Terra. I do not like that mon.
Grim, the first
And
pick
then
is Zera,
like
which is like
and
a
then
real
you go
round
down the
one.
list. Like I don't I don't hate the team, but some of the like little things that I have are just weird. Cause this is basically all setup sweepers. You have Roaring Moon who runs a great like choice band set. Like outside of that, like all these mons want to click setup moves. Roaring Moon wants to click Dragon Dance. Quaquaval wants to click SD in the Aqua Step. Volcarona is Quiver Dancer number one. Sinish is a Calm Minder. And then you look at the hazards. Just DOD. You look at the removal. It's just Corv.
There's
I
a,
love
there's a
Corviknight. That is a
Quaquaval that gets rapid
fantastic
spin,
Pokemon. Right, he does do that.
but
Do you tend? I
that
mean, you do
doesn't
run
fix
defensive
it though.
Quaquaval, but is that the main set you're running on
I
Quaquaval?
don't know. Like also, I
Is
feel like this
really
team.
is really the question.
Uh, let's see. Am I echoing?
Not that I could tell.
Cool, cool. But I say like it's just like a bunch of underwhelming. Like Say's just fine. I mean, Doug Drill's a rocker, but Deox is also a rocker. Deox is a really good rocker, so it's fine.
It's very consistent. But are you gonna be running the dual hazard seismic tallest teleport set every week?
I mean, it's
I mean,
not a
you're
bad set,
sacrificing a hazard.
but
I mean, you need to slot and recover though for
sometimes,
DoD.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't really understand. There's a lot of mons I don't think are great. I don't think the synergy's here either. Hello, T Wolf. Like, Amazon, like, you look at stuff like, what? How does this team break, like, a Clefable, which I know is not a good mon Gen 9, but, like, just an example, fairy types, like, kind of sit on this. And luckily, there's no Terra, so you can't just Terra something into fairy and win the game, but still not
Yeah.
great.
Is Unoracle Fable devours this game.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think this team is very good. I just think there's a lot of mons that are just not optimal here. I think I don't know how to explain it. It's just the team does not feel good, like at all.
No, I agree. I found it very underwhelming, and I don't even think it's bad. I don't think there's really a bad team per se. I'm just looking at this, and I'm like, this just seems a little underwhelming and just kind of predictable.
I'll say it. I think this is bad. I'll flat out say it. I think this is bad. Like I just don't see the vision. I don't see vision. Ground type Dug Trio is also really bad. Sure, you have Zero, which can like switch into Volt Switch, but like sure, but it's gonna get worn down real fast that way. I don't know. I
Yeah.
just don't see much synergy here at all either.
Yeah, no. I agree.
Well, that we've kind of finished what we're saying. So let's move on to number 15, which is Orn, who I had at 14th and you had at 13th. And people by seeing these numbers as number 50 are probably starting to realize something. But anyway,
Oh boy.
I don't know. I don't see 6 mons you want to bring to every game, so that's kind of a problem.
No, for sure. So I will say, I love that first two wheel pick. Garchomp Terrapagos is a crazy good combo.
It's a very good wheel pick, yeah.
And then we followed that up with Blaziken.
I think
I don't know about that fella. He
I think
could
Blaziken's
definitely
fine
work.
on here. I think it's fine on this team. It fits well.
I think it works, but I was looking at some of these other mons, and I'm like, wow, some of these mons are also kind of fraudulent. I do not like Mega Pidgeot.
I
I do
think
not
it's fine.
think
It's
it
not.
is a
It's not a bring every game meta. Is my problem with it here.
I don't think it's a very consistent mega. Like so it'll for sure have matchups where it comes and it puts in a lot of work, but then other times you're trying to like hit hurricanes and then they're just bouncing off of certain fellas.
I didn't see it,
And then Raiko, I love Raiko. He's my mascot.
but
He's
he's
so
bad.
mid.
He's bad.
He's so mid, and it makes me so sad.
Like I'm sorry.
It really hurts my feelings.
The fact you have to bring one of the bottom 6 every game is really problematic.
Yeah, cause then we're bringing Golbat or we're bringing Swirlix, who is the fairy with webs
Swirlix is
and is
never coming
basically
to a
a
game.
system
Swirlix, I calling it now. Swirlix will never come to a game. Welcome, Gareth. Yeah, Swirlix is never coming. I can promise you that right now.
Like I feel like if you wanted him on with webs, you could just get Ariados. Because this team also doesn't have a grounded poison.
Yeah, I don't think his team hates needs to ground poison that much.
Because it has Terrapagos, which is like the best spinner in the game.
I mean, it
It's
has
running
that also
boosts
like
every
a
week.
lot. Yeah, Brown has second like a lot of your mounts don't hate T specs. I guess like Chomp and Prim, but other than that, like it's not that bad. I do don't get me wrong, ground poison would
Maybe
be nice.
Blaziken, just because it tends to get. I don't know if you're trying to stack toxic damage with Flare Blitz.
That's fair. I can see that.
It's like if you're running the standard SD Blaziken set, you're slotting in Flare Blitz and CC. So
I guess
toxic just helps wear that down faster.
yeah, theoretically you can run like Bandit EQ every week. You break those, but I know I don't see that. That seems super predictable though.
Yeah. I mean I do like the defense. Gen 9 Metagross is Gen 9 Metagross. It's Buster
It's very
Fantastic.
good. Yeah,
And then Prim is always consistent. But a lot of those lower tiers are just not very good. I
yeah,
love my darks. Why is the dark Alolan Persian? I just I don't know about that one,
yeah.
Chief.
I don't expect that
I
on
feel,
this year at all. Um,
I feel like we could have worked in a way better dark. 'Cause there's a lot of good lower tier dark options.
there are. I don't know why you took Persian. We already had that speed tier anyway, like which is the one thing you grab it for.
Like I don't know where that Skuntank character is at.
That
Love
would be
him
really
here.
solid here. Yeah. I think honestly, I don't love the bulk that much because I feel like it's gonna get worn down really fast. Like Prim meta don't have great recovery, and that's kind
And
of
then he
your
has no Wish Passer
main
either.
defensive core. I don't think wish passing is that important, but just like if you're gonna have those, I feel like you need something that can stay healthy throughout the game, and it's like goal
You
bat
know,
or
you know what I
something.
mean? That just helps with longevity. Because otherwise, you're trying to milk leftovers or Prim's running Draining Kiss.
Yeah, Hazy makes a good point about the best fighting resist being Primarina that you actually want to bring to a game. That's very true.
That is also true.
Like if you're
That is
dropping
very
something
true
for
because you
goal bat,
don't.
that's really bad. Yeah, I mean, I see the
Yeah.
line grim with like Chomp, say, has an Blaze or Terrapagos picking up every game, but I don't see how you get to that end game that well. Like that's a good end game. The question is how do you get to it in the mid game? I don't see a great mid game with this team.
And then any good removal plus phasing just destroys that every time.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, Bramble easy. I mean,
Truly, Bramble is the solution to all our problems. The frail fella, the frail tumbleweed.
yeah, I know. I don't think this team's that bad. I think it's a big step up from Mojo's, but I still don't really like it that much.
Like I said, I really like the first two, and I like Prim and Meta, and then Blaziken, iffy, but I do think it fits here, and then it kind of loses me with every other mon.
Yeah, I know. It's just Bronzong doesn't seem like I guess, but I don't even know if Bronzong was drafted because it's bad, so I don't know if that matters. Yeah,
Does anyone
Blaziken
have
does
his
appreciate
own
slow
I
pivots, and I
exactly
guess
care.
you have flip turn Prim, which is a good slow pivot, so I don't know.
No, that's a great slow pivot, but then outside of that, you just don't have any slow pivots.
Yeah.
All your pivots are fast. Because technically, I'm defining Raikou as an offensive pidget nowadays.
That is the way it is, by
Because
definition.
that fella is not hitting any harder, which makes me so sad. But that's fast. Mega Pidgeot U-turns, that's fast. Although
Yeah.
the Persian parting shots, it's fast. Like, Blaziken does not want to take hits.
Yeah,
So,
this seems like okay. I'm sure Orin can do fine with it. I just don't really like the composition of it that much.
I do agree with that.
Wants to run bulk. Yeah, exactly, Gary. Wants to run bulky every week, but just have the raw bulk to do it. So let's move on to number 14, which you had down at 14. If I had up a little higher at 11th, which is Dr. Geo.
Now, I will say, this was before he made his changes. When Empoleon was Glamora,
Oh.
he made that change, and I do like the team more. I am putting that out there right now.
Yeah, I know. I
Here's my
mean, I like the team overall. I think, like, Gallade, Bundle, like, Dragonite's really good offensive core. You have good defense, decent recovery. You have really good hazard game. I do kind of wish you had a spinner
Yep.
because like Gliscor wants to keep his hazards up, and you don't have a Ghost Eater, so like Yes, Gliscor's a great setter, but you aren't going to win the hazard game with this team. Like, because your hazards
Yeah,
will
because your
easily get
removal
removed.
is
You have no way
either.
to really punish it outside of, like, competitive
Yeah.
Empoleon. And you have no way to
Mhm.
preserve your own hazards while spinning them for bundle.
Yeah. Because I agree. Glade Bundle, fantastic combos. This is one of my favorite pivots. Rotom Heat, love that Pokemon. It's so consistent. Gliscor, suck at using it. Great Mon, and Empoleon pairs really well with it. Tank here is good. Because before he made the changes, I was like, wow, we have two Ice Week quad Mons without Empoleon, and then our water was bundle. I was like, oh,
I will say,
that's certainly a move.
even with the
But with
free offensive pieces here, I don't think it has enough offensive pressure for to beat like Fat. I really don't. I think Fat teams kind of sit on this really effectively.
yeah, I'm not sure about. I was never sure about D Knight here because I like D Knight as a mon, but I'm just looking at it and I'm like, is it just here as just kind of a mon to help things? I'm not specifically seeing the vision as to what it does here.
Yeah, Hazy, the team really did the Inner Breaker. I absolutely agree. Another breaker would have been really nice. I mean, Spike Stall, I guess, if it works, but still, was the speed drop's kind of rough too. I'm not a big like speed tier harpist, but like 136 to 110 is a bit rough. I will say,
Yeah.
especially if your 110 can't run Scarf.
Yes. I do agree with that. I'm a pretty big speed tier truther. I think they're always very useful to have because it makes counterplay more consistent. Just because if you're forcing certain things in the team builder, that does alleviate some pressure on your end.
Yeah,
But like, I do agree that that jump is really bad, and I'm still not sure about the bundler. Maybe that's just me hating because I've never used it, and I don't really tend to see it get used very well. But I do have a few
yeah, Hazy. I was about to mention
nervous.
that like 95 and 90 or those. I mean, Tink can run speed. You see Fast Tinkaton a lot, but you don't really have to respect it that
There
often
are
because it's
offensive
not that
tickets.
frightening. So like, yeah, I mean, 1 versus 1 isn't the end of the world, but my problem is that the 110 can't run Scarf to help compensate for that. Is my big problem. Like, I don't know, speed
I
isn't
mean,
terrible, but
we do live in a I think we live in a Mega Galacticus Trailblaze world. But
no, we
even
live in a
then, are
Mega
you ready
Galincus
to?
agility world.
Oh, I thought it got Trailblaze. Oh,
No, that's Mega Many.
that's
That's
such a
Mega
shame.
Many.
Oh, right. Because then, I mean, I guess Mega Galade really. I mean, Mega Galade does a lot of agility. Mega
Yeah,
Galade likes its three attacks plus a setup
yeah,
move
extreme speed.
set
There's
a
really good
lot.
power on this team with D of the E speed and like a couple other things, and that helps. But I do agree, there's just like no good Scarfers here. That's not the end of the world, but your mons that would theoretically want to run Scarf are like Rotom or maybe even Bundle, and both are weak to rocks. So like, that's not great when you don't have a
Yeah.
spinner. And yes, you can defog again, but like, then you're getting rid of all the
But then you're
progress
losing your hazards on
you're losing all
Gliscor
the
on the team.
progress your Gliscor forced early.
And that's what and Gliscor loves getting those spikes down. So it's just such a shame. Hey, Illumise is a goaded Monty Wolf. It is a great Mon. It got a kill today in the draft battle I did.
That does not.
Because some guy tried to noob me with a Spothra. He wasn't ready to face a real player.
Fair enough. Yeah, this team's okay. It's just like the gameplay isn't that fleshed out, and it doesn't have the support that it wants to really succeed in that game plan.
Yeah, no. I completely agree with that. I was looking at it and I feel bad since last season I also ranked his team pretty low. But
I
it's
don't keep track of
just
where I left.
I'm just not seeing the vision because this reminds me of the team I had last season because I also had Alolan Muck, Gliscor, and Polion. But then my first two months were also Iron Valley and Terrachi U.
That's a bit. I would think it's a little better than that
So,
pairing. Yeah.
so I just had some slightly better, I guess slightly better offensive mons. Because
Yeah.
I a lot of these mons I like and I think are really consistent. I love, like I said, I love Run of Heat. Alolan Muck is a fantastic Pokemon. I
I
like
agree the team
Empoleon.
is consistent outside like bundle missing hydros, but I don't think the mons work well together is the problem.
Which yeah, it, it's a shame, but yeah.
With that, let's Nash, it doesn't even get defined anymore. That's competitive now. Anyway,
Yeah, useful ability for once.
moving on to number 13, we have Axel is the first big disparity. I am in the middle and you am at the very bottom. So I will get
Yup.
started on why I like this team. Let me pull it up real quick. Yeah, I like this team a lot. I think the offense is pretty solid. I will say, I wish you. The one thing I don't love, the first thing I don't love is that Deoxys kind of get forced into a lead role a lot because Petron is so good at keeping up the spikes. Kind of get forced Dio into that role often, which isn't the end of the world. And like, but overall, I really seem it's a really solid defensive core. Petch, Pert, Mandy, Stila, Shaman, Arcanine's really tough to break. You have solid offense with Mega Nancy, clicking buttons, raw. Celesteela, if it gets a like a meteor beam or any sort of setup, it's really strong. Even offensive Arcanine, I actually think is really good on this team. I think it really appreciates the flare blitzes. So I do think the offense is pretty good. The defense is pretty good. I think the mons themselves are generally solid. Ampharos, I've gotten a new appreciation for recently. I think it's fine for what it is. I will say, I do wish you had a spinner. I know I harped on this last time, but if you're going to be spike stacking with Petron as your spin blocker, you really want to be able to get rid of the hazards yourself. It's not the other one because your team doesn't hate hazards that much, but I think that would be nice. That's like just a minor nitpick. Other than that, like I really like this team.
And I agree with the point. I specifically wrote down he also needs a spinner just because his hazard game is fantastic with Pert and Mega Diancie and Deoxys speed. And on paper, like just looking at the boss themselves, I was like, oh, this seems fantastic. And then I was looking into it more. I was like, uh-oh, we have one water resist. We have one ghost resist. We have one rock resist. We have one ice resist. And
I
are
mean,
the Mons very bulky? Yes, they are. They are fantastic defensive Mons. I personally like having more than just one resist to certain
I
types.
guess. I think Mandibus one of the best ghost
And
checks in the game. Pert's one of the best rock checks. Shaman's one of the best water checks. So like, but I do agree on the ice
they
point. Ice is definitely annoying because Arcanine isn't the best into it, especially because some of them going knock and give us boots and stuff. Arcanine's the best ice check, but I think the other ones you have such reliable checks to them, and those checks can stay healthy. So I think it's fine. I do agree, Graham. It can
which
become abusable. That's true.
which yes, they are easily the best pivots. It's just when I'm personally looking at a team, I don't want to be like, oh, I'm fighting Iron Bundle and I only have this one mon that can actually do anything about
I
it.
mean, Iron
And then
Bundle
it'll
beats
just flip to
literally
I'm
every
forced to
draft
send
team
it
ever
out.
on paper. So like,
Which which is true. It is just the first immediate mon that I
that's true.
thought of
Yeah,
as an offensive mon. It's just I feel like a lot of offensive mons can spam their stab and then slot in the one coverage move to then beat the one
that's
check,
fair.
even if the other mons are very bulky,
Nash
which
Shaman does
just
not
kind
beat
of
Iron
my
Bundle
issue.
1v1. I don't care. Sure, you can just say run a Yachi Berry, but like that, I don't care. Like you can say it for anything. That's pointless. Anyway,
I mean, if we really want to get into that nitty gritty, we can.
it's not worth
But
it.
I'm just looking at this just on a
I
paper
agree. Though. I was
kind
just
of
responding to
thing.
Nash's comment in the chat. That's all.
Yeah, no. I get it. I'm looking at that chat myself.
But I
It's
know. I
just I do think that this team does work. It's just my personal preference when it comes to defense because all my drafts are very bulky. I have multiple answers to every type because I don't like being forced into that one specific role. Because it's like, oh, this other guy's a really good ghost, gotta bring Mandibuzz. And then, oh, this team has a really good Icemon, I have to bring Arcanine. I just don't like being forced into those certain roles, even though all of these Mons are quite flexible. Even though in certain situations, Mandibuzz is forced to run Defog just because that is his only removal. Shaman should get Defog, in my opinion.
Yeah, man.
But
That's
But
true.
like that is that is definitely just how I feel about the team. Axel is a very good battler, and this team is definitely good. Just when it comes to how I like building my teams and my draft philosophy, I just can't do it.
That's fair. I think he did do really well. He won last season. He did pretty good. I know. I think I'm also biased because like these are some of my favorite mons. Like the top five is like the most endless core of all time.
I love Pecharunt. Pecharunt is so good. It's such a good mon.
But yeah, I know. I think like low mid is fine for this.
And maybe I was a little too harsh on it. Honestly, looking back, this probably goes above Geo, but like I don't think I could personally rank it top half.
That's fair. All right, let's get into number 12 then, which is Div, who we both had pretty middle of the pack. This is a really interesting team. This is a really interesting team.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Like this one was hard to place. Like it's very unique for
It
sure.
is really weird.
Um, I really like a lot of the offense. I just realized my screenshot was terrible on this, so I cut off the whatever. um, I think the offense is really good. Cinderace, Raging Bolt, Manaphy, Wando, Golden Gills are really like pretty difficult to switch into and pivot around with Wando. Like four of those get pivot moves, and they are happy to click them, which is really nice.
Mhm.
Um, got good bulk. Clef Scrafty is a surprisingly robust core. And with going go, I will say, yeah, Gareth, I was gonna get that, but I got some negatives. Yeah, you have no removal for Mega Pinsir that's like
Yep,
real, which is
I
not
agree with that. We
good.
at least need a good spinner.
Or even Defogger, but like Lando's not a good. I mean, it's a good mon that can defog, but it never really wants to.
This is true. I do agree with this. Cause I did like the consistent rockers because Clef Lando very consistent at getting rocks up. I think every mon has its role and does it really well. On first look, I was a little concerned about the immediate power, but after looking back on it, I mean, you have Landorus, Therian, and Raging Bolt right there, so you do have pretty good breakers,
Yeah,
and the sheer amount of knockoff he has too. I was like, you saw that on Manaphy, on Clefable,
yeah, he has a
on
lot of knock,
Lando,
which is
on
helpful for
Scrafty,
sure.
on Mach.
Getting rid of those
Just
helmets
my
is nice because then Mega Pinsir doesn't just like die in two hits from helmet after taking
yeah.
the rocks. Yeah, I mean Gareth, I can see like, but like I don't think court change is reliable. I think it's like really
I mean,
unreliable
if
because
you
you
click
can't
it
control it.
once, then you're kind of just screwing yourself because they'll just get it back
And
up.
then they put the
Like
yeah
any rock.
they put the rocks back up and like it. Also, a lot of rockers can come in on Cinderace anyway, and then they can just say up the rocks after you court change. It's like, what did you really accomplish? You got rocks up on their side, but like you're still dealing with the same problem in the long term.
And then if you want to actually remove the hazards, you have to slot in Defog on a mon that doesn't really want to run it. You have to slot it in on Lando. And then it's, well, that's
Welcome,
fun.
Cheeseball. I'm not sure. I don't recognize the name, but welcome. I see TBC, so you're good. That's cool. I like. That's a good
There
league.
ain't nothing wrong with light hazard teams as long as your hazard mon is extremely consistent, which is why I do like Lando and Clefable here because those mons are
Oh,
always
Cheeseball
getting
is
up
Div.
rocks.
Okay. Hello,
That's
hello,
funny.
Div. That's your own. That's you. Gotcha.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. That's
Which,
fair. I mean,
if you know how to pilot,
if you made this kind of thing work before, I trust you on that. I just think on paper, I think Mega Pinsir really wants more support. I think the team's good. Like it's all good mons, like objectively, and they all work pretty well together. I just
yeah,
think it
I
doesn't.
love Muck here.
I think this team
Yeah,
could
that's
work.
Muck.
I almost the way I want to put it is when I think this team could be better. I don't think it's bad. Like I think it's objectively a solid team, but I think like there were ways it could have been so much stronger, and that potential is what made me rank it a little lower. But overall,
Which
like this team's
I
solid.
do
Like
agree
10th is not
with
bad for
what
me.
yeah. I do agree with what Nightblader is saying in the chat. Like if you get the win con mons into the position, you're just
That's true.
destroying everyone.
I will also
I'm
say,
just so worried about the consistency of getting hazards off to support Mega Pinsir. And
But
then
also, I mean,
also
this team has enough
just
good models that you don't even have to bring Pincer every game. To be fair.
no, you don't. Shout out to Muck. You're bringing that mod.
Also,
It's very good. I like it.
one thing I really like here is the Golden Go pick. I actually think is really nuanced and really smart because so the best counterplay to stuff like Manaphy and Raging Bolt is Encore, and Golden Go comes in on Encore Mod and kind of just like takes advantage of that. So I really
And
like.
then it'll click its own buttons.
I think that's a really smart and nuanced pick. And keeping up your own rocks is pretty nice on this team because a lot of these mods don't really get the OCOs, but like if you have things take rocks once or twice, things are going down. And I think Golden Go fits really well for
Yeah.
that reason. Do I wish
And
there were
I guess
spikes with
this
the
is
Golden
just
Go? Yes. Do I think it's a big deal? Not
I
really.
I was about to say that exact same nitpick that that I'm like it's a shame we don't have spikes when we have like one of the best spin blockers in the game, but like you have Lando T to hit the steals, and then Clefable kind of deals with the fightings, and then you have Manaphy for grounds, so it still works out in the end.
Yeah, this seems very solid. Like even being this low in the top division, it's not a bad team. Like we just have a lot of really good teams, and this one ended up a little bit lower for minor nitpicks. But
A lot of them are very strong.
this is a fantastic team. Don't get me wrong. Like we've kind of gotten past the really rough ones, and we're getting into ones that are all pretty solid at this point.
Mm-hmm. See, Hazy, I agree. Muck is a knock absorber. I love
sticky hold,
Gen
right?
9
Yes,
Muck.
sticky hold, right? I think.
It does. Yes,
Yeah,
it
it's useful.
does.
Yeah.
You run defensive sticky hold sets, or you run like an
Offensive.
assault vest poison type
Yeah.
set. Love Muck. I think it's
Or
fantastic
you
for
be
the price.
yeah.
It's very consistent.
Yeah. Or you be
Okay.
stupid like me and run special muck for some reason. I
Actually,
don't remember the
yeah,
other week. That was for something. It was.
yeah.
I mean,
Garrett did just raise a good
there's
point
a Lando. Lando's a
about
really good ground check.
there is a Lando. There is a Lando, but we also live in a hidden power world.
That's fair.
Where we can just slot in HB Ice
I
to
mean,
be able to nail
resist. I don't think it
Lando.
really matters that much. Like, I don't remember if Zygarde was drafted. Even if it was, like, Zygarde doesn't break Clef like ever. We've seen that
Someone
every gen. We've
someone
seen
has
Zygarde can't break
Zygarde.
Clef.
Hades has Zygarde. Hades has Zygarde.
But Zygarde doesn't break Clef. It doesn't break bulky Manaphy. I don't think the resist versus immunity really matters that much here.
Which
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree with that, Dave. It's super hard to kill. It's a bit weird, but like I think it works really well.
It'll work.
It works
definitely
really well,
work.
and I fully expect you to get some good wins with this. I just like think it could have been a little better, but this team's great, and pretty much every team we go from here on out is gonna be great. So with that,
I wish I could have slotted in Raging Bolt
let's
onto my team.
get
I really want to
into
use that
number
mod.
11, which is this one's kind of weird because this one we really disagreed on. I had this in last place,
Oh.
and you had it up in 5th. So yeah,
Oh
for
boy.
the other divisions I showed my co-host the rankings in advance. I did not for Croc because we were kind of in a rush, so he did not know that this was so far apart.
I was unaware of what was going on. My fault.
No,
My
that's
fault
fine.
again.
So what? Why don't we go into what you really like about this team to start off?
Okay. I just really like the first 6 mons. Sneasler Zard with grassy terrain is just kind of absurd.
Hazy,
then you
I'll get
have
to that. Hazy, I agree.
I'm chilling to get up hazards every time. Like Tinglu is always getting up your ass.
Yes, another fan was mentioned. Yep.
And so I will say, one thing I do not like, there is not a fairy resist.
Yeah,
Your
that was the
steal
thing I
is
noticed.
King
Like
Gambit.
Iron Valiant or
Why
Enam
do
kind
you
of fuck
need-
this, or any offensive fairy really.
I'm not entirely sure why we needed King Gambit when we have King Chillin as one of the best darks in the game. So I'm not really sure why King Gambit is here. I do like the sneaky Farigarav, which can run like a grassy seed set. I like Wash and Togekiss as the defensive pivots.
Yeah,
And I do think that he does, looking back on this, maybe I should have ranked it a little lower because I do not see an immediate breaker.
I mean
aside
Zard
from
Zard can break pretty
who,
well.
Like, he does click buttons.
Zard can run,
But,
Zard
like,
can break pretty
Sneasler
well. That's can
likes to
banded
roam.
Rillaboom.
Yeah, you can run Banded Rillaboom. That's pretty solid.
I
But
guess
I just think it has really good synergy with that top 6, and then Farigarav can also come in. I do not think it is a perfect team. is definitely not a perfect team, but it just looks really fun to try and
I do
use.
agree it looks
Like,
fun.
I don't like the ghost is Galarian Gorsala. What? I don't like that guy. I don't know why he's here. Like, I would make King Gambit just a regular lower steel, and then maybe give me enough points to work out something with Galarian Corsola. But I just like those first six a lot, and I think they can do a lot of things.
Yeah, I know I'm not a big Togekiss fan. I don't think it's great. I guess let me get into why I had this team as my last place. So my biggest issue is like, where's your speed? It's Sneasler and nothing else. And Sneasler is like
Yeah.
always running Grassy Seed, so it's not even like that great of a speed bomb. It's no one's gonna creeper for anything. Like, sure, it's fast as hell, but it's not that hard to stop. Especially when you don't have
So
great ways to
Sneasler can
punish the
also run
switch-ins.
Scarf.
It can, yeah, but you don't have great ways to punish the switch-ins to Sneasler either. Yeah, no special offense is another huge one. No special offense is another gigantic one. So, like, Willow spam or Burn spam or any sort of like intimidate is just really strong here. Yeah, I agree that Tinglu doesn't really fit. Like, it's just kind of a momentum sap, and without a spinner and also your spin blocker being dog shit, like you aren't preserving your own hazards anyway. Your your removal for Zardex, I mean, it's not bad. Rowan Wash is a good defogger, I guess, but I don't know. And then no Ferris is big. Like any offensive fairy, even like a defensive fairy running offensive investment, kind of just clicks a button here. Like even just looking at something like Florges, which is not noticeably strong as a fairy, it's only like 110 special attack. Like, but you run like an offensive Moonblast that doesn't even specs. Like, you are not going to have a good time. Or even
It just
physical
gets
ones.
to click its buttons.
Physical ones too, like Azu. Like, sure you can run like fatter Rotom or Rillaboom, but those are still taking 60 from Banded Play Rough.
Mm.
Yeah, I really just can't co-sign on this team. I think all the mons themselves are okay. I think, yeah, people know I like Rollicine, so I'm not as high on it as I was at before. I know it's so slow. It's so one dimensional too. Like every mon is pretty much one thing you can do. I guess Sneasler can break her queen, Zard can break her queen, but like everything else does one thing and one thing only, and those things are
Yeah.
not that hard to stop.
Which yes, I do get where you're coming from, and maybe I oversold the team a little. It like I said, I do want it to change. Okay, Nidus Torracat is not a real intimidate mon. Time to get real.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's not even think about that. But like, for specifically who has it, that mon is never coming to a matchup. Cause I'm thinking about who has that mon. And that mon is never coming. But I do think there are some flaws that could definitely be fixed. And maybe I oversold it. I was just looking at Sneasler and Zard and Rilla as great core, and then Rotom Wash is just a great mon to get them onto the field to just do their thing.
yeah, terrain nukes Ting. I mean, Tinglu, I get, but like Tinglu isn't here to quick earthquake and do good damage anyway. I think the terrain is overall a positive for Tinglu because it helps it stay healthy.
Gives it recovery, and then honestly, I mean, you're really clicking Ruination anyway. Ruination, if you really want that ground move, you can just slot in high
Yeah.
horsepower.
I don't think Ting gets high horsepower. I think it gets to run Stomping Tantrum, but whatever.
Does it not get high horsepower?
Pretty sure it always runs Tantrum and VGC, so
He's
I don't
basically a
think it
horse.
gets high horsepower.
It doesn't. That's
Yeah,
such a shame.
I know this team just really underwhelms me. I don't think it's particularly good. I know I feel like it's way too one dimensional, and that one dimension is not even that good at. I mean, sure,
Yeah.
Tinglu never
Um,
dies,
I,
but you just get Tinglu, you just kill everything else, and then it's all my friends are dead syndrome, and Tinglu just slowly dies because it doesn't do any damage back. Like, just because
yeah.
Ting never dies doesn't really matter. It's so easy to pivot on this team, too. Like,
But
you.
maybe Bandit Tinglu is the way. I've seen people do offensive Tinglu.
Weakness policy, Tinglu is the wave. I will die on that hill. But yeah, that's number 11, which we were pretty disagreed on. So let's go on to number 10. Oh yeah, team is super toxic. I agree on that. Yep. I guess heal bell the Toge is fine. But on to number 10, which we both had towards the middle, which is Smat. I just have it 7th. You had a little bit lower at 10th. I like this team a lot overall. Like,
It's definitely good. It's a good team.
I will say the top 5 is kind of your main real mons, but that top 5 works really well together as a team. Uh,
Mhm.
I will say I don't like that the speed mons are kind of shit. Like, Non-Terra Boulder and T-Flame are not the best. Um, but other than that, like, I just really like this team. That's like was my one big issue. And the bottom 4 aren't amazing, but they aren't like unbringable to games like some of the other ones that we saw earlier. Like, all 4 of this
Yeah.
bottom 4 can come to, I'd say, a majority of matchups. So it's not like you're locked into just 6, really. The top 5 are probably coming every game, but that's not terrible because they synergize really well.
It's a really good top 5. I'm not crazy for non-Terra Mew, but it is still like a very good Pokemon. I did not. I also agree that the Speedmons are shit. Terra Boulder or non-Terra Boulder, yikes, not a great mon. And then really, I was looking at kind of the hazard game a little bit, and I don't know if this is just me, or like I don't know how often Hydreigon or Maw like to slot in Stealth Rock, but I feel like your main setter is Mew. Which granted, Mew does like that defensive role nowadays, and you have like a fantastic offense trio with Mega Maw, Hydreigon, Keldeo. That's a really cool set of 3, which P2 could just kind of get in for free.
Casey, I will say, I think Keldeo's a really good ground and steel killer, actually. So I think Boulder's okay support here. Like, not Keldeo breaks down most like rock resist pretty well.
Yeah, I guess if you get it into the right position, it
I'm
can
not
be your
saying like
cleaner.
it's great. I'm saying like it's supported enough that it can do stuff.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it and I'm just not crazy for it. Or at the very least, I'm not crazy for the what am I not crazy for? Where was I going with that? Man, I kind of lost where I was going with
That's
that.
okay.
But I like the team. I do. Like I said, I don't think there's a single bad team. There are just a lot of teams that I like more. And seeing Boulder's really throwing me off. Claude definitely comes to a lot of matchups.
Yeah,
But
that's fair.
then you go Claude, and then you never want to hard switch in Keldeo or Hydreigon. So you have to go your mid ground into Mew or P2 and then pivot out into
Yeah,
your
that's difficult. I
into
agree. I
your
agree. Into
offensive
your
mon.
breaker, yeah, that's not ideal. I agree. I may rank this a little
Which
high, but I think overall I like it a lot.
it is. I do think it's consistent. I do think Smack will make it work. Like I said, I like the pivot mons. Mew's very flexible, great offensive core. P2 helps get those mons in. I like P2 and Mew together when your fighting resist is so sturdy. And then I think the lower tiers, like you said, all come into games. I think Boulder's a little fraudulent, but I think it'll work here. Hopefully, praying.
Yeah, I probably rank this a little too high. I'm looking at it more, but is what it is. So let's move on to number 9, which is Nidus, who was another one we had a big despair on. You really like this. I really did not. So why don't we go into why you like this?
All right, time for you to get real. I love the offense of Moth, Shifu, Rapid, Mega Gardevoir. It is so evil. Like, what is switching into all 3 of those? And then you have one of the best pivots with Torn. I do not like Torn. I am not sold on that Mon at all in Gen 9. I've never looked at that Mon and been like, wow, that is something that I will ever use. But I can't deny how good it is here. I'm not sure about Treads as the steel, but it works. It works quite well with Torn. Serp is there to spam Glare, which then just enables Mega Gardevoir, Shifu Rapid, Moth even more. Gastro is your backup ground, which is a very good backup ground and a backup water, which is pretty consistently
Yeah.
getting your hazards up when you want that as their hazard game. Umbreon, bit of a momentum sink, but I do like the Foul Play, T-Wave, Moonlight, Baton Pass set for this as just another slow pivot to get in those hard-hitting 3. And then obviously you have Maractus as your mascot pick, which also has spikes, I guess, but you're never bringing it over Serp. And then Swalot as your
The mascot
poison.
pick's Maractus. The mascot pick is Maractus, I think.
Swalot. Swallow is cool. I like Swallow. He's a guy. I'm not sure if you really needed that bulky poison unless you were. Well, I mean, I guess you are kind of worried about fighting here, but there were a few defensive flaws that I saw with his team. Like most teams, cooked by freeze dry.
I mean,
Like it
yeah,
is
but it's
bad.
freeze dry. It's freeze dry.
But Umbreon has a lot of sheer bulk to it. Like Umbreon is fat. And I also noticed he's a little weak to birds. Like your one resist is shreds.
Yeah, it's fair.
Like bird spam is pretty good into him. But
This team is
outside
like
of that,
solid in my opinion. I don't hate it.
eh,
I like the speed. I don't know. It just something feels off to me, and I can't put my finger on it. But something feels just a little lower quality than it should be for this division. I can't tell you what, but like
it's
something.
just that hunch. I see it. I see it. It might just be the order of which the mons were like picked.
Round free Serp. I
Like
assume you
I
picked
don't
that
know
up
how.
in Grace, so because I don't think you would take round free Serp
Uh,
normally.
no,
The
no,
fairy
he
was
picked.
supposed to be
Well,
Sylveon,
no,
but I
he
guess he
picked
got
up.
sniped.
Circle was round three. Circle was round three.
But he actually no, I think he might have picked it up in Grace. I mean, I don't think he actually
No,
picked it up.
no, he drafted Sir. Swear to God, he
Okay,
drafted
that
Sir.
I'll be honest, that makes it a little worse for
Yup,
me.
Surf was around three. The Grace pickups were I think Shifu,
Yeah, I'm looking at
Gastrodon.
Shifu guard Gastro.
Yeah,
I know. I find Gastro and Umbreon to be an extremely passive defensive core. And
that is
I
true.
think this team
The
is going
fairy
to be
was supposed to be.
forced to play super offensively, relying on Torn and Treads to like switch into anything unless you're bringing Umbreon or Gastro, which halt your momentum completely. Like, I think the team's fine. I think the
Is
top six is a
Umbreon?
very competent, bulky offense team. I think that's fine. I just don't like the bottom four minus Swallow. I respect Swallow, but I
I
just,
am
I
I'm a
don't know.
little against the opinion that Umbreon is a momentum sink in a world where it can just come take the hit, then either Moonlight or Dry Pass out immediately into either Moth, Shifu, or Mega Gardevoir. But I do see your opinion on that. I just think it's not that bad.
I know. I think Umbreon is super taunting in sub bait, as so is Gastro. And sub isn't as bad because you have the Shifu, but I think these ones are very likely to get set up on. And
Yeah,
and your
Taunt
encore
Bait is definitely
your
not a
encore
huge
minus guard,
argument.
which is fine, but I don't love it. I don't know. Just I can't put my finger on why I dislike this team. I really can't. Like objectively, most of the mons are solid and they synergize well. Just something to me feels off. I could not tell you what, but I just did not like this. In terms of like
Completely reasonable
minor
opinion.
nitpicks I saw, ice kind of smokes you. Like
Yup,
I look at like your
absolutely it
resist is
does.
like a Shifu, which is okay, and also uh Grimace, the Pincurchin is dead where it should be. It is dead in the ground, sucking terribly like it
We
should.
hate fake Pokemon,
I
but to be
hate
fair,
Pincurchin so bad.
he
But
doesn't
yeah,
have an electric.
yeah, I guess. But yeah, I
Sorry,
know.
Grim, we can't draft mid.
Yeah, I know. I don't hate this team. I would say bulky psychics are kind of annoying for us as an Earth analyst. Like this team doesn't really break down stuff
Or
like
without
Mew
the
very often.
offensive dark.
Nidus, that's just a
Pincurchin
lie.
gets
Pincurchin
easy.
does not become a better Coco if it gets
That
level
is
switched.
we don't need to cap like
That is
that,
the most
man.
copium statement of all time.
We don't need to defend Pincurchin right now, man. It's okay.
Yeah, but I
He's
don't know.
not real. He
We
doesn't
kind of
need
just
it.
really disagreed on this, and I think it's fine. I think the team is middle of the pack at the end of the day. I think that's fine. So, yeah. Now let's move on before we have more Pincurchin talk to number 8, our top
Please.
half. We have Cat, who I had really high and you had pretty well. So I guess I'll go into why I really like this team. Let me just pull up my notes real quick. I mean, first off, the offense in here. Oh my god, the offense on here. Gouging, Gren, Cornerstone, Crown. And then like even Hat
It's
and Neoqueen are
amazing.
solid for offense. Like they are bulky, but they can also fire off strong hits. The bulk is really solid too. I mean, it's not like the most like recoverable, but you can pivot in really well. Stuff like Neoqueen, Hat, Eel, Crown. Even like Gouging's a pretty decent pivot if you need it to be. You have, even though your Neoqueen's your only rocker, it's a really good rocker. You have dual spikes to set up your sweepers to get their kills, which Gren kind of needs sometimes to get off that battle bond. It needs things to be chipped a bit. And this team supports the Gren really well. I like the speed. Crobat Gren is really solid. That's one of the big things. One of the things I do wish was a little better was your removal to keep the cornerstones sturdy intact. Like Default Crobat is usable, it's fine. Spin Hitmonchan is not. Spin Hitmonchan is so bad. And Hat is like okay as a magic bounce, but I don't consider that reliable. But other than that, I really like this team. The only Mon I really don't think is real is Hitmonchan. I think all the rest have a place here. Wishy-Washy isn't like the best Mon, but he did need a really solid water resist, and Wishy-Washy does that very well. Mega Ino's okay, like, you need a Ghost Check. It's a Mega Ino. Cool. I guess if you're bringing it, you can run a set that's like, focus on keeping like stuff like Nidoqueen and Electros healthy, and Iron Crown just isn't bad. This team has the option to run a bulkier mode if she wants to. But I think it will really shine from that offense. Yep. Why don't you go into
now,
well, you didn't like it.
Well, what was really my issue with this one is just those lower tiers were just really throwing me off. Because it's a lot of stacking, which does work. Like here, let me say what I agree with you. The first 4, oh my god, it's so lethal. It's actually disgusting. Like, I don't think any Mon is going to be able to handle all 3. Or let alone any team can effectively handle all 3. It is just insane. And I do agree that Nidoking is the only rocker, but it basically comes to every matchup anyway.
Yeah.
So it's very consistent there. And the removal, yes, iffy. Gouging doesn't want to run boots all the time. Cornerstone likes to keep sturdy. Hatterene does help, but then the only other one is Defog on Greg the Crobat, who love Greg. I don't know how many times he's coming to matchups here. And like I said, and like you said, Hitmonchan's a fake Mon. Like that is oh boy, so I needed a fighting, and I guess this guy has spin, so I might as well take him.
I think it's more I need a spinner. I have no points left, and there's none on the board.
Yeah, let's get Hitmonchan. He'll definitely do something, but overall, I was just kind of thrown off by the lower tiers a little. Maybe I did rank it too low, because those first 4 plus Nido are just so good. Like, I think if I was looking at this team differently than how it was arranged, I would like it a lot better.
That's fair.
But it's just that kind of... It's like the same thing that you just said with Nidus' team. It's just like the look from it. Like the kind of vibe you get from it. You're not really sure what it is. It's just kind of throwing you off a little bit.
I can see that, yeah.
This team, it is definitely good. I'm just getting thrown off by what the lower tiers are doing, I suppose. Like, all of them have a role, definitely, and it's for sure just a me thing, because what this team is gonna be is gouging, cornerstone, break a hole, and you have Nidoqueen and Hatterene to pivot, and then if that doesn't win the game, I have booster speed crown.
Kat said she got sniped a lot. I'm not gonna lie, this team looks like a team that got sniped a lot with like those low tiers trying to fill the roles you couldn't.
Yeah, wait, where? Let me look at this chat. Yeah, it did, in fact. It does look like it got sniped a lot, considering we wanted Gliscor, and that got picked. So then we got Ogerpon Cornerstone. I love Ogerpon Cornerstone. I'm of the opinion it is the best Ogre form. But, like,
I think for its price, I agree. For its price, I agree.
Definitely got sniped a lot. But it is still very good. It is just, oh man, how could I misgender Nidoqueen like that? But like,
yeah.
But like, yes, it is very good. I'm just thrown off by a few of the later Mons, and I feel like if the lower tiers were slightly reorganized, I do think I'd like this team a lot more. I probably should have ranked it higher just off of the strength of that first 3 alone, but it is still very good. Like I said, no bad teams.
Yeah, that's kind of just like a while the teams are like just really good. It's hard to separate them. Okay, so we'll move on to number 7, which is number 6. We have a tie for 6. I forgot. Which is our first 6th place team. We do have a tie. Is black. So this is a black team. Entei, Zapdos,
it's for
Latias,
sure a black
Megalop,
team.
Melmetal, Vape. It's a little more unconventional black team because we see stuff like Crook and Screamtail, which she doesn't have very often.
Yep. I specifically wrote, is that Zapdos, Latias, Screamtail, Entei, and Articuno on the same team?
And
Who
Megalopony.
else but Black? And
Yep.
Megalopony. I haven't seen too much
We could have
Megalopony
left
yet
the
from
name
him.
blank. You're not wrong. We could have left the name blank and everyone would have known who it is.
It's just him. It's so bulky. You have Megalop. He's got Crook. It's just so thick. And
It's the
I am
black
of the
team.
opinion. Yeah, I like the pivots. He's got good knockers and Lop and Crook. All these mons come to games. I think he could have been even more evil. That Vaporeon could be fishy wishy. It could easily be
That
fishy
definitely
wishy. No
went
one
earlier.
drafted
There's
it.
no way Aloe lasted to round 8. There's no universe.
No, no one has it. I'm
It's
certain no
undrafted?
one
What the
has it.
hell? Okay, well then you probably should have
No
taken
one
Aloe.
drafted it. That could be fishy wishy. That could be fishy wishy. And that team would be actually evil.
But I really like this team. Like I had a couple nitpicks. Like I think even though Black isn't really the most spikes heavy player, I think Lop loves spikes, so I do kind of wish he had those. That's a
He
nitpick though.
appreciates any extra chip he can get.
Your grounded poise is never coming to a fucking game.
It's the Viper.
Survivor is
Yup,
never coming.
you right.
And albeit your team doesn't hate T spikes, but like Screamtail's gonna get worn down real fast. Entei if you're running Bandit or something. Hell, Brendan, you're Tenkai, right? I think yes. Wait, no. Or is that
No, that's GG.
that's GG, right? We have two Brendans. I forgot. Well, welcome GG. Sorry. We have two Brendans. That's why I got confused. Who were on the mod team? Anyway. Yeah. I don't know. I think this is like this is the black team. I'm not as high on the black team as I used to be. As even though I've never beaten it without a ton of hacks, I know I think it's a bit more exploitable in Gen 9. Also, Advanced Team's kind of lacking special offense outside Zapdos, but that's not the end of the world.
No,
I guess Latias
especially
too.
when your
Latias can
combo
like fire off
rating is
Dracos and
just
stuff.
so good.
But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
run a really good call mindset.
it's the black team. There's not much to talk about. We talk about this every season with the PRs. Every season we have the same. Yeah, top 5 is super solid outside of it being a black team. That's fair. But like, what else is there to say? He's consistent. There's a reason he has the best win rate in BPL history. And he won
it's just
3 seasons in a row. He went undefeated for regular season 0. Like, this man is a monster. But there's just not much to talk about because we see permutations of this every year.
It's the same team, but just with slight edits. I don't think he'll ever. I mean, it's a guy who knows his play style and then cooks everyone with his play style.
He does very well, but yeah. Yep. So not too much to talk about. It's a very solid black team. It's not my favorite team draft. I think like this. I don't know. It feels a little worse than some other team, but it's fine. So let's move on to the our number 6, which was tied, which was Max. These are tied because they are literally opposites. Black was 9 and 6. Max is 6 and 9.
All right, I'll leave with this one. How did we let him get that first 7, people? That is such an evil top 7, and I'm emphasizing the number 7 because you are never bringing the other 3 Mons on this team.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, ever.
This is a PDX S team. There's no non-PDX Mon. It's very funny, Graham. Good point. Yeah, Tusk Chiyu, even Wellspring appreciates the webs. I think this team's amazing. Like every
It's
mon is really good except the
it's
Torracat,
so
which
good.
does not exist, and I am pretending it's not there.
I'm just not seeing why, or I just don't think any of those lower tiers are coming, which throws me off a little bit. But those 7 are so good, it's just not even funny. You're getting up webs, you're getting up spikes, you're getting up stealth rock. Galarian Slowking brings in everything for free and is fat. Great Tusk removes for 2 of the best offensive darks in Chiyu and Weavile. Like, it is such a good 7.
I will say I
But,
actually
like-
think it's a good 9 because Rotom and Sableye both popped up as amazing low tier spin blockers and like high level play. Rotom has like a 70% win rate in DPL this season. Or maybe like 65. It's wild. Sableye is pretty solid too. I think it comes out of my games, but
My just thought with that is I feel like if you are bringing Rotom Sableye, you're sacrificing either a big chunk of offense or you're losing some kind of support. Like if you're not bringing Klefki, I don't have spikes. If you're not bringing a Rockwood in,
I mean,
well,
you
I
could
don't
set
have
spikes
webs
with the
here.
Wellspring. It's pretty good at that, but
Oh, right. I kind of forgot Wellspring has spikes,
I
but I
mean,
don't know how
yes, you have to
often.
drop
That
something,
Power doesn't tend to get spikes.
but the fact that you have good options to drop stuff for is really big. Like, yes, you probably usually bring the top 7, but like if you want a more hazard centric game plan, like Rotom, Sableye are fine here. Like it just depends on what you want to do. He has the opportunity to go offense, like balls to the walls offense with Tusk, Ogerpon, Chiyu, Weavile, like some sort of breaker Araquanid, and
Weavile
Slowking to
does
get it all
have
in.
bad enemies. And then Specs Rotom. You're not using Specs Rotom. You're using
Yeah.
Specs Chiyu.
I do
What are
agree,
we talking
Cobra. I
about?
don't
That's
think this
just an
team
objective
needed both
Evolve.
Rotom and Sableye. I think that's a bit superfluous. I think he probably could have done something better with one of those slots, either way, but I think having one of them is great. I think having both is a little redundant. That's definitely a bit of a nitpick. Is
I would
I feel like it's wasted points on the Sableye and or the Sableye slash Rotom and the Torracat.
if I'm picking one of those two ghosts to keep, I'm gonna keep Sableye. Just because I do feel like its disruption is very helpful here. You got Prankster T Wave, Prankster Wisp, Prankster Encore, Prankster Taunt. That just kind of opens a hole for one of your other monsters to just come in and click their buttons.
Gareth, I really don't think we need a Slush Rusher. I think most of those mons are terrible, and it's not worth wasting your time with them. That's just me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But anyway, I didn't say what I noticed is like ghosts are kind of annoying, but like we banned Dragonfly and Spectre, so who gives a shit?
The best ghosts are banned. I mean, who would be the best ghost in this case? But
Probably
Sephiroth?
like Golden Go, which like
Sentry?
gold.
Oh, right,
But
gold.
like
Yeah.
Arachnids are really good
But
Golden
you
Go
have
check.
Chi, and Great Tusk, and Weavile. So Golden Go is kind of cooked. The
Yeah, I
Golden Go
think this
can't
team
beat all
can
these
offensively
monsters.
check them fine. So yeah, I really like this team. Petch I guess is good, but like
Petra's the best defensive ghost.
Petruant kind of loses to like Petruant kind of loses to like
Petra's getting stuck by
Covert
Chi in
Covert
this
Hook
specific
Sableye or
matchup.
yeah. Um, I know I really like this team. I let you play a little lore, but I think this team is really solid.
I I I really love those top 7. Lost me a little bit with the lower tiers, but I do respect Sableye as an option.
It's something. He also forces a lot of prep with the threat of Prankster Encore. It really limits the ability to set up on this team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to number 5, our top 5, where we have Nash, who you really like this team, and I did not. So why don't we go into why you really like this team?
Okay. I really like this team because it reminds me a lot of my team in my first EDC season, which was very consistent, very fun, and overall, I just really like this team. Urshifu, Single, Kartana, Tapu Fini. As much as Nash hates Tapu Fini, it is a very good top 3. Like, you have two of the best physical attackers that now cannot be limited by burn. They are now immune to burn, so you can't even stop them like that. You have to stop them offensively, which is extremely hard to do. Then you have your pivots. You have Moltres, Mesprit, and Vikavolt. All are fantastic and all can do multiple different things. They aren't limited to just being a kind of pivot mon. They can each run an offensive set. Mesprit's getting up hazards. Moltres can be an offensive mon itself. Vikavolt webbing, or it can run a spec set. Gengar is a fantastic mon with Urshifu single strike because it can just click its buttons. I'm not crazy for Mega Garchomp as a Mega, but I really like it here. Regirock also, Regirock is most certainly Regirock, but then I do respect Audino as your normal. I think that's a normal that's coming to games. I think every mon here comes to games. Every mon is consistent in the role it does, and it allows you for flexibility. Like Urshifu, Cart, Gengar with webs is just so hard to stop.
I mean, I guess,
It's
but
so hard
my
to
problem is
stop.
this team's slow as balls, so it's forced to run webs every game. And
It
like,
is limited by the fact that its top tier is 110.
but like, it's so slow, man. I know you have 3 good Scarfers at the top, but like, you're gonna have to bring Vikavolt every freaking game to have ace or speed
You
control.
also have good T-Wave spammers. Like Mesprit and Audino can both like click
Sure, but you're
T-Wave
also
as long
setting
as
up Misty
is enough.
Terrain, which makes it hard to do
As long
that.
as the Misty Terrain is up. Which I do think that Tapu Fini isn't always limited to run Misty Terrain.
I
But
know. I
that's
think
that is yes.
this feels
Both
like a 6-mon
conflicting.
team to me. The top 5 and Mega Garchomp want to come to every game, but you also kind of need Vikavolt because your team is slow as shit. Gengar's not a real mon. I don't respect Gengar. I think it's ass this gen. Regirock's fine if you have Fighting and Fire. Audino's okay, but like it's just so slow. It feels super mid to me. Like, sure, you have kind of good breakers and cleaners, but like they aren't that hard to stop. Like, yes, they are not perfect, but like they have pretty clear checks that most teams should have. It's just my God, it just feels so mid and it's so slow, and I just don't see how you're winning games versus anything remotely offensive. Turn this team can kind
I
of
do
feast on
think the team
fat. It
can
can
be
feast
out
on fat
offense.
really well, like with like Stallbreaker Fenny and like just quickie modes with Kartana or Shifu, even Gengar, maybe Archon. But
Yeah.
any offensive team is just gonna steamroll this, and like I in Gen
I
9, I
think
don't feel safe.
Gengar. Yeah, no, I get that. I think I know Nash is in chat saying that Gengar's underrated. I do agree. I think for an offensive ghost and your grounded poison, Gengar does have a lot of good use cases here. And then Reggie Rock was the oh shit, we don't have a flying resist, which is
It's
fair, but we're
fine,
still
yeah.
kind of getting cooked by flying anyway. But I just think that this team does have a lot of consistency. Yes, the speed stocks. You have three fantastic scarfers, or you have a lot of options to be able to slow the opponent down, and you have good options to get in your breakers, which I that's what I really value in a team. I really value consistency and then being able to get in the mons that will click buttons and that will win you the game.
I will say I don't like Gengar as a spin blocker when your team is so webs reliant. Like Gengar just folds to any spinner clicking an actual attacking move. Defox Bravery here. I don't
Yeah.
know. I feel like I don't like teams that rely on webs to function, and this feels like it needs webs every game to function. And I'm not. I just can't justify that playstyle as being good. I really can't.
No, that's absolutely fine. Completely reasonable.
But yeah, so we kind of differed on it, but because it was kind of higher up, it did end up in fifth. So good on you, Nash. Let's move on to number four.
And besides, we're just yapping about our opinions.
Yeah,
These don't even matter.
true. Number four, and you see fifth and seventh, so it's kind of whack that you got fourth because we were playing lower. But anyway, number four, we do have Hades. Let me pull up Hades.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this team's very good.
Oh, it's so good.
I mean, you
All
have
right.
9 usable mons and a Flacky, but we don't need to talk about the Flacky. But I will say to Dunsparce and Infernape aren't. Dunsparce is a fine rocker. You just get to bring it most games because Infernape just want to ruin rocks. But to Dunsparce and Mon, I think it's fine to come every game. But like, holy offense, Batman! Darkrai, Thunderous, Zygarde, offensive Sylveon, Infernape, Mega Scizor. Like, what are you gonna do to that? Also, the bulk's insane. Mega Scissor, Sylveon's really good, Dunsparce, and all of these have recovery, which is really big. They are hard to take down over time because he can play the long game if he wants to. Tentacruel's an amazing spinner. I love it. This gen provides so much good. What is it? Support. And yeah, it has really good speed control too with Zygarde, Glare, Dunsparce, Glare, Thunderous, Prankster, T-Wave. Like it's not that hard to like force teams down, and then you can even let like Sylveon, offensive Sylveon, come in the late game, just click Specs Hyper Voice and win the game. Like the speed control is really nice. I think this team is a really it just feels like a really good Gen 9 team to me. It has offense, has bulk, has hazards, has support, has momentum, has disruption, has everything you could ever want. I love this team.
Yeah.
And I'm a Zygarde hater for the
I
record. I think it just fits so well in here.
I do agree, but the rockers kind of feel like an afterthought. Yes, I
That's
mean the
true.
Dunsparce loves running rocks, but I don't know how consistently Infernape is going to be running stealth rocks. I feel
That's
like
true.
how I'm envisioning it in my head is like he gets Infernape and he's like, "Oh wait, Infernape's my only rocker. I need one that actually functions." And then we got the Dunsparce right
Yeah,
after,
that's fair.
who fits here fantastically.
It's
Like
so good here.
this team is it's so strong. You have all the offense you could want. You have all the defense you could want. Fantastic speed control. I know we were just hating on Thwacky, but I do think Mega Scizor Zygarde with grassy terrain is actually kind of demonic.
I guess, but then you have to drop a good mon for Flacky, which is like not great.
But I wish, yes, that our grass is a Thwacky. We're like, oh, I need a grass, and
But
Thwacky also
I
sets
don't
up
think that's
grassy
that big a
terrain
deal.
for
I
my
guess
actual
you could
good.
argue it's a little ground weak, but Scissor checks most grounds because it's so fucking fat anyway.
Yeah, same thing with Zygarde. Zygarde's pretty bulky too.
Yeah,
That felt
I will
if you're
say
really weak, if you're really weak to ground, you'll slot in, you'll slot in Thwacky.
I will say, say the line, Bart. No spikes. Again, it does not a big deal, but like with all the pivoting, Scissor, Fundy, and Ape, it will be nice. This team is fine, just rocks. I think it's fine. Grim,
It
it
definitely
seems
gets away.
defensively
Just how bad.
deceptively bulky. I really disagree from my experience using it. Then again, I also catered an Arceus Water a Primal Kyogre with it. Shout out Kron when we did the Uber Zoos League. But I still don't love
Oh
the mod.
boy.
Well, actually, you know what? I
I
just
think
you know,
it is.
now I think about it, I won my chip with it on my super low tier team, so I like it in that format. In super low tier, Flaky was crazy, but in like standard, I don't know, man. It seems cope. It
I
seems really cope.
I mean, I think there are definitely more copium grasses than Thwacky. I definitely see why it was drafted and then how it works into this team. But honestly, it's just so consistent with those first nine. It
Yeah,
is so consistent. It's so powerful. It has everything it can want in those first nine.
yeah.
Well, it's just gonna be so hard to beat. Every
And
mon does
Gareth mentioning
exactly
Toxic Spikes
what you
being
can
really good
expect
on
them
this,
to
I
do.
agree. This team abuses the hell out of the Toxic Spikes with like Zygarde Scissor and stuff.
Tentacle can run the same set like every week, and it is just he was gonna grab Gorgeist but got sniped. Oh,
Fair
Gorgeist would be
enough.
so much better here.
Gorgas Whitman's all on here.
Yeah, because
I will say this
but
team bulky grounds are kind of annoying for this team. Like we'll get something like I'm trying I don't know what to say, like a Tinglu. Like outside of U-turn from Scissor, oh, actually Tinglu's back to Park Dark. Well, I guess Spadef Hippowdon kind of sits on this entire draft, but I don't know if it's drafted.
yeah,
I think bulky rounds are a little annoying, but there aren't that many that do have a secondary typing that kind of folds the rest of the team, so I
do
think
we
you'll be
have
fine.
any bulky grounds here? Don Fan is a bulky ground that could potentially be an issue here.
I mean, Darkrai clicks a move and it takes 70.
Yeah. I mean, I could name just defensive grounds, and then we'll find the counter to them on this team because it
Yeah.
definitely exists
This
in like
team's
every
very,
team
very
here.
good. Like, even though we both play a
It's
little
so
low fourth, I think
consistent.
it's deserving of being all the way up here. It's so consistent. It's so strong. I wish the hazard game was a little better, but outside of that, this team's fantastic.
I definitely I agree with that.
Yeah. So let's move on to our top three. Starting with Peyton, who I had first place, you had an eighth, so I guess I'll start with why I absolutely adore this team. I mean, well, one second, let me hold my notes. Oh yeah, I really had no issues. I thought this team was nearly perfect. I'll be honest. Um, like I love this team. I mean, you have Mega May, Meowscarada, Blood Moon, Great Breakers, each slash Great Breaker. Most of them can clean too with the right sets. You have really good removal with Blastoise and even Comfey. You have amazing setting with Spikes, Meowscarada, Rocks UC, Rocks Nihilego. You have Veil support from Abomasnow, which just makes Weakness Policy, Aegis Slash, and even Weakness Policy Blood Moon broken. It makes Mega Machamp insane. Like, the last one doesn't matter, but like, this team has so many options. Every Mon can do multiple things. Like, even though Magic is like pure offensive, it can run like multiple variations. It can run like a breaker set, it can run like a bulk up set, it can run Trailblaze to try and clean, it can run Baton Pass to try and pivot it into the Aegis Slash as the, or Masquerade as the Psychic type comes in. I love this team. I adore this team. I just can't find things I dislike. I would be so happy to use this even if it was a Mega Man Champ hater. Like, it's so good. It's so good. And everything flows together so well, too. Yeah.
No, it's definitely a fantastic team. My specific notes on it were like the the breakers are just fantastic. Mega Medi, Aegis Slash, Ursula Blood Moon, Meowscarada is one of the best cleaners in the game. It is consistently just gonna click its buttons and you're not gonna be able to stop it. I was a little iffy on the defense, which I do think I wasn't thinking about Abomasnow Veil. It's like Yuxi and Stoys are very fat, but neither of them specifically have reliable recovery. But that doesn't matter if they're hitting the field, then immediately you turning your flip turn out into one of the tactical nukes that are
Yeah.
then hitting the field.
I
So
also
and
think you
then I
can't
would also
underrate Luna's bulk with because also Moonlight, which can heal it, which is kind of nice. So, but I
yeah,
see what you're
this is
saying.
definitely the more bulkier Ursaluna. Like it can just so easily slot in recover. And I was also this is like a nitpick of nitpick. I was a little iffy about that gap between Nihilego and Meow because there are a few mons that'll capitalize on that. Like Greninja is gonna capitalize on that here. And then or like Torn or Cinderace and Roaring Moon can also capitalize on all that, and all those mons were drafted. Granted, not a huge deal. It's definitely a nitpick. Because this team is just going to be able to do exactly what it wants, and there's not a lot you're going to be able to do about it.
Yeah, Cowboy. Bitch, I'm still in the cut. Pseudo will do. Anyway, but yeah. Shout out whoever said that. I think that was CTC. Anyway, I don't know. There's not much to comment on it. It's just a really good team. Peyton, I feel like he's drafted Obama Snow or Mega Obama Snow every season he's been here. It's almost like a signature mon for him at this point. And he's always uses it really well, so can't be too mad about that. Pretty sure it was only 3 points too. We definitely should have bumped that up a bit, but oh well. Yeah, just a really good team. On to our top two, who these two we both agreed were very high, so these are definitely our defeated top two. So
Finally, shared opinions.
first off, we have 0 in second for both of us. And this team's really solid, even if I think Coco is just super overrated. Like this team's really good. I mean the offense is great with Coco. Kiram is insane. He's doing Samurai crazy. Really good bulk with Venu, like both Kiram, Donphan, Rachi. Rachi keeps Donphan healthy. Serledge is really solid offensively. He also gives you a really good fire check, which you kind of needed. Lucha, I don't love them on, but it's fine here. If you're going to do Coco Lucha, at least like having the stuff to wear down the team before you send in Lucha for the end game is really good, and Samurott does that easily. Hatrim is fine. I don't think Coco's over. I still think Coco's amazing. You just have to not only use the offensively anymore. Yeah, I don't think you need Iron Mons. Like, this team is an electric terrain team, just has Lucha, which can abuse it. I will say Mega Venusaur not being able to click Sleep Powder is kind of annoying, but that's like annoying anti-Sarah Jesse. I adore this team.
It is so good. The Kyurem, Hisui, and Samurott alone elevated this team extremely high for me because Kyurem is one of the best wall breakers, and then you have spikes that you simply cannot get off the field because they are going to keep going up every single time.
Yeah.
And the bulk is just so consistent. You have Rachi, Donphan, and Mega Venusaur, or just defensive Kyurem, which are just so hard to remove.
Even
Coco
bulky
is definitely
Even bulky
not
Coco's
as
pretty hard to
good
get
as
rid
it
of.
used to be. It's definitely much more of a pivot mon nowadays, but it is such a good pivot.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not even funny. I think Cyrilege is also a great slot in here. Halucha, I don't know how often it's going to come to games, but I do think it's a mon that you will have to respect on this team as an option. Because if it does get that unburdened, you could potentially be in trouble. My one thought that I had with this team that is negative is I do think it is a tad weak to ghost spam, but Asui and Samurai can run bulky sets to help you play around that, and then you can also just keep that healthy with Wish. Like the Asui and Samurai love throwing on one of my favorite items, the Assault Vest. Like Assault Vest, Asui and Samurai gets up spikes, and then it's going to go and facilitate Kyurem, or it's going to go and facilitate Cerule Edge.
Yeah,
It's just such good offense, such good defense. The hazard game is fantastic. Yeah, it is just
it's
so good.
fantastic.
It
It's
is
Zero
so
always
good.
drafts really well teams in BPL. I'm not surprised this one is great as well. Okay, and that leaves one. And if you look at the doc and see a division list, you'll know who it is. But it is the person with the most rings in BPL history. It is Kron, who I had done third, but I still think it's amazing, really good. And Croc had it first. So Croc, why don't you go into this?
Oh my god, this team is so good. What what team can handle the sheer offensive presence of Palafin, Latios, and Ogrepon Herflame on the same team? And then to go with that, there's the sneaky sand mode, which is held by Palafin. Because what Mon is stopping the sand mode that isn't also weak to Palafin? Palafin is just going to destroy whatever Mon that is every time. And the bulk, I really like the bulk. Florges and Amogus are so consistent. T-Tar can easily run a defensive set as well. You just get in you get in exactly what mon you need to surgically remove everything. And I don't think there is a physically impossible way to prep for every single way Kron could beat you with this team. Because he has so many options that you physically cannot cover for them all. My only bad things with this, and these aren't even that bad, I do think that your only removal is Excadrill. Florges does have Defog,
As does
but Excadrill is also coming to the major. Wait, what? Sorry.
Latios also has defog. We probably just want quick hits. That's fair.
Yes, Latios does have defog. It's never really slotting
Yeah,
in
that's true.
defog. I think on this team it wouldn't tend to slot in defog. But I mean, Excadrill is coming to most matchups anyway, so it doesn't even matter. And I even like the sneaky Mega Bayonet in the back, just because it gets disrupted with Prankster Encore. It can click Poltergeist. It's another great priority mon to go with Palafin. It's just this team is just so good offensively that I think it's just going to be hard to stop. And then it has great ways to support its sweepers. It's just, I would love to have this team because it
Yeah,
just
I
seems so consistent, so strong, so hard to
Yeah, there's an
stop.
amazing bulky offense team. You have breakers, you have queeners, you have mons that can do both, which is most of them. Heart Flame, you didn't even mention, I think is really well supported here with the spin on drill. It just get hit so much damage rolls, so much damage to everything. I don't like the Kilowattra. I think that mon's trash, but like you need speed and it's fine.
It's
It
only
doesn't
there
do.
for the speed, but
Yeah,
it's gonna help.
it's just really I like Amoonguss Forge as a defensive core. I think that works pretty well to like cover most things. And things you can't, you just beat offensively. It's just a great team. Like every mod has a place, multiple places even. And even like Amuga's Spore support really opens up Palafin too, because putting the check to sleep is really, really strong. I mean,
Never give
it's
Palafin a free turn.
you have decent knock with T-Tar Heartflame to remove items, remove like helmets to try and wear down Palafin. This team's just fantastic. And I will say round 2 extra is a little early, but like it works here, so it's fine.
I just think that with Kron piloting it, this team's gonna go so far.
I have good baby. It's a very strong player with a very strong team, and I don't see this losing too much. I think this team really will. Oh, and David mentioned that this team's really good ways to proc Palafin's transformation. Yes, Grim Kron was first pick, I believe. Yeah, so I mean,
He was
Palafin
one of
like
the very few people to get Palafin pick one. Not a lot of people did it pick
yeah.
one.
So yep, this is pretty good. Like yeah, Drill and Lottie were together on the wheel. Yep. So yeah, this is just a great team.
It's a round three drill.
Think that is just gonna wrap us up though. Wait, not much else to say. Oh, well, most of these drafts are really strong. It is the top, one of our top divisions for a reason. So with that, I think we're gonna call it, and we're gonna hop off for a bit, and I'll be back with Tenkai in about 90 minutes for Sardonyx. So have a great day,
Indeed.
everyone. We'll
Thanks
see
for
you then.
stopping by, people.
Thank you, Croc, for joining me, and we'll see you guys later.
Indeed. Love being here. See ya.
Peace.